G'day, this is Captainoob, and if I sound different, it's because I brought a new microphone. It's a Blue Yeti, and if I don't sound different, then I've wasted a whole bunch of money on this thing. This thing wasn't cheap. Anyways, this is a LAER. That is a laser-assisted electrical rifle. That gives you an idea of what this thing is capable of and what it might be stronger against. Basically, it's a weapon that was from Old World Blues originally. There was a unique one called Elijah's Enhanced one, but that doesn't actually exist on this mod. This is a different version to the other LAER mod that I reviewed. I think that was almost years ago at this point. It's supposed to be a slightly more lore-friendly one, so perhaps less liberties taken with this thing and its attachments. And you can't see it now, but those little tubes housing those electrical Tesla thingies, they actually are animated, and some people thought they're a little bit too much, and there's actually a patch to tone those down a little bit if you feel like they're a little bit too much. But, you know, makes the gun feel nice and alive when you've got the thing in your hands and those things are sort of buzzing away. It has custom reload animation, same to that of the other LAER mod that I reviewed way back, and also it uses the alien blaster sounds, which for an electrical rifle, I think suits it just fine. Doing 75 energy damage right now, obviously using the micro fusion cells, or the fusion cells in this game, and we can improve that damage by improving the capacitors. Unfortunately, there's nothing to increase our crit damage with these, so we've only got the standard damage increasing capacitors to do, which caps out at exceptional for 166 energy damage, which feels a little bit better, yes. Right now, I've got a standard barrel. You can have a splitter barrel on this, which will turn it into a shotgun of sorts. It'll split it into 8 projectiles, which is going to split this damage, which has been increased, but it's going to split it in 8 times. And basically, all of your projectiles will hit for a much lower rate, and all of that damage will be soaked up, or all of that, or most of that damage will be soaked up by your enemy's armor. So, performance-wise, this is probably one of the worst barrels you can put on it, but it looks cool because it's got these cool projectiles, which we'll show off a little bit later. But we won't get much use out of that, but I will demonstrate that this thing is probably not all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe if they would increase its armor penetration with this barrel just to give it a little bit more of an edge, but it's not a very good barrel for damage purposes. Next up, we've got a marksman barrel, which makes it longer. It elongates the barrel, gives you slightly better damage and extra range on that. Not really much reason to use this thing over rather use a standard barrel over this thing once you've got science rank 3, because you've got extra damage and extra range will allow you to get headshots from a much longer distance, which is good for using this thing, because honestly you kind of need that when you're using energy weapons. And you've also got a charge barrel here, which will give you superior damage and range, and it's basically a sniper barrel, but slightly better damage. You'll also note how they give you a little bit of extra electrical damage here, and I'm not sure whether that just adds some sort of enchant on the gun that we can't see that gives you electrical damage, or whether that's just a little bit of unlisted here for damage, but that's kind of interesting how it works, I think. We'll go for a charged barrel on this, and we'll move on. You can have a full stock, a comfort stock, which will change it to a timber sort of stock, and also a marksman stock. Marksmans generally, what they'll do is they'll reduce scope sway, but this one just looks like it's just stopping the recoil, and superior recoil and AP cost as well, so I suppose that's the way to go, and that will be the only way to go, really. Interesting. Usually the marksman stocks don't give you a boost to VATS efficiency, but looks like we've got it now. Right now, I've got a standard battery. We can have an eco battery, better for the environment, gives us a slightly bigger magazine. Or you could have a much larger magazine, but reduce your damage. Don't do that one. You need all of the damage you can possibly scrounge as an energy weapon. So we'll go for that, a little bit of extra magazine capacity in the eco battery. Right now, I've got standard sights, which don't appear to be anything. Look, this thing looks kind of like a toy, but as soon as you chuck some iron sights on it, I think that looks a whole lot better. I actually quite like the look of the iron sights a lot, and the Institute paint is sort of selling me a toy blaster gun here, but I think it looks kind of cool either way. There's a reason why it's painted like that as well. We'll get to that in a second. But we've also got a reflex sight here, which is a giant hexagon, which I think it kind of suits Big Mountain a little bit because some of their crates, you'll see the little hexagons on them, so that's cool. It'd be even better if there was like LEDs sort of around the rim of that reflex sight on both sides, just to give you a little bit of a futuristic feel about it. Might be over the top, but just an idea. Long scope, short scope, medium scope, and recon variants. No scope with the no night vision scopes, which I think is interesting, but let's go for a short recon scope here because I quite like the recon scope. We track our targets and it puts a giant microwave on top of this thing. There we go. There's one layer. There's also a legendary explosive. Oh, that and the splitter barrel would be godly, but we'll refrain from doing that. Legendary effect is there if you need it. We will not be using it. 211 damage seems pretty good. I'm going to get a couple more of these and we'll start to shoot stuff. Now, getting the layers in-game is a pretty simple task, provided you've got the fast travel points to get yourself fairly close to it. Other than that, you're doing a little bit of walking and not much else. So our first location here brings us just above the River Charles here, and we're on this particular bridge here. CIT would be there if there wasn't a smoldering crater, and there's the wreck of the USS Riptide. That's the one that's with a boat stuck under the drawbridge. Now, what you want to do from here is go to the end of the bridge where it starts to dip down. For some reason, the bridge doesn't exist here. Might be the consequence of blowing up the Institute, but the cars, they're still around, so we'll jump on them like the water is lava, and you'll see that there's a van. It's got this crate in the back. It's got a couple of hexagons on it, which tells you, hey, that's Big Mountain. Unfortunately, there's nothing in this crate, if we can just hover over it for a second, but there's a man sitting here or floating there. He's got a Big Mountain crate key. That's very important. Pick that up. He's also got dirty army fatigues if you feel like picking those up as well for selling, but we don't need that. While on your way, make sure you find giant cazadors and then just beat them to death with your bare hands. Courier ain't got nothing on you. And it's down for the count. And we have reached our next destination, complete with a glowing bloatfly. This is how it's gonna go down, buddy. I ain't above punching insects. Let's go. Anyways, so we're at a place called Federal Supply Cache 84 Northeast, I guess. And you want to go inside here. And if you're familiar with this location, there's a couple of Protectrons which look like Fallout 3 Protectrons. That's cool. I forgot I had that mod. And there's a terminal expert allowing you to get access to this. So potentially you could probably chalk this up to being a little bit of well, actually, you can just open it up like that. The circuit breaker will let the Protectrons out. I guess we're going to whack them too. Never mind, we'll just shut them down instead. Yeah, and it will hack this terminal, and that'll give us access to the room. And now we're in. You can see yet another crate with that key that we grabbed. We can get the fusion cells inside, and 2 layers featuring a wicked cool Institute paint on it. I actually really love this. Good job. I like this model quite a lot. This guy's called Earl. Now, the last Earl I saw in a Fallout game had 3 heads, so, you know, Earls, they don't make them like they used to. He's got a note called I Got the Key, which gives you a little bit of flavor. And the note reads as follows. It says, "Hey Earl, you better read this note, because this is a huge jackpot. Those crazies at Big Mountain just dropped off some tech that could fetch a good price. Those brainiacs at the Commonwealth Institute of Technology would absolutely love to buy this. Reverse engineer it, and boom, you got a cool science project for the students. It's only a dangerous gun capable of tearing robots and power armor in half. Technically, we're in ownership of these now. We can sell them wherever we please. Also, who cares if we don't give them to the troops? We have enough shit already. I'm on my way to the place to sell the stuff. I got the key on me, so sit tight. When I come back, I'll unlock this crate, and maybe we can bring CIT the rest. They're definitely going to be hungry for more. I guess that's why it's painted like that, to be in the Institute colors there. Also, just ignore this anti-material rifle. That's from a separate mod entirely, but I'm guessing that is too, but yeah. There's some things, and there's a weapons workbench if you've brought resources along to modify them, right here, I suppose. Alright, so here we are on the inside of Gunner's Plaza because I didn't feel like slugging it out for 18 minutes using this thing on the outside and struggling the whole time. So we're on the inside. This is the standard one that I made, or the first one I made with the charging barrel, and what you can see is a recon scope. This is what it looks like in third person. Looks pretty good. Swing the camera around here though. There's a little bit of a problem I have with this. You'll note that this thing apparently uses animations to that are of the laser rifle, or I guess the LAER, and the grip here, just there's a little bit of clipping going on. It's like a rifle grip on what appears to be like a pistol grip stock. There's a reload animation in third person, and in New Vegas fashion, there's no sound there, so I guess you could potentially call that lore realistic, but I feel like there's meant to be sounds there, and maybe if I had the other LAER mod installed, there would have been sounds to that, but right now, very silent, so we can reload without worrying about our enemies detecting us. Speaking of enemies detecting us, probably won't be long until we are spotted. Well, we're not actually. And there's a few reasons why I decided to chuck on a recon scope, other than, you know, the obvious tactical advantages of lighting up enemies that I see with a little diamond above them. I think that gunner just ran in front of the Molotov for me. That's nice. So with the recon scopes, obviously it's a scope and you can do that mostly, but you also get a very open sort of sight picture. You don't get the terrible tunnel vision that you get with normal scopes, so it makes it pretty good. And when gunners are rolling around helpless on the floor thanks to them being knocked down, you'll find that they don't shoot back, which is a nice way to save health during a firefight if they take that much killing just to drop. There we go, there's a one-shot killing little baby gunner there. Taught her a lesson. For those particularly stubborn gunners that like to hide around corners, if you can get them to knock down, then they'll be much easier to hit a completely stationary target. Let's move on to the standard barrel one here, which is just got the reflex sight on the top, which you can barely see through, but, you know, as you get firing, you'll figure out right quick where those projectiles are going. And I want to take a quick look at these and have a quick discussion about them, because I feel like they're actually really well done. Like this thing is named, it's got an electrical component to it. So what do? Well, they gave it muzzle flashes and I believe impacts from the Institute laser gun, giving it that lasery feel, but the traces, the beams themselves, they're that of the Gauss rifle. Look at that. A perfect balance between laser and electrical there. Absolutely brilliant use of vanilla assets. I love it. Let's move on to the shotgun, because we're in close quarters now. And I talked about how I didn't really rate this thing, and you're about to see why. I'm getting a lot of my pellets on the target here, and seemingly getting basically 0 damage. Also a teddy bear. I'll take that, thank you. And there's some weird lighting going on. I think one of those gunners has got a tactical light. But yeah, things aren't going super swell here. We'll zero in on the head here. We'll get some better damage. We'll even go for a critical, see if we can drop her. Nope, not happening. Yeah, I don't particularly rate these shotgun variants. Granted, the spread here, even at this range, is enough to get most of that damage on. You could potentially say that it's a lot more forgiving when your shots aren't exactly on target. Like, you're gonna hit something with a spread like that, I suppose, but the damage is just not there, and I don't think it's quite good enough to be competitive, because whilst you're up at point blank or even lesser ranges shooting stuff, well, the enemies are just gonna shoot you straight back, and they won't miss at that range, so the high risk, high reward for a shotgun there, I don't think is quite there. Anyways, here's the sniper version. I have to say that the definitive way to run this, and the way I recommend it, is just to whack a scope on it and just play to medium ranges, because you won't have any problems with the recoil on this thing. There's basically nothing there. Sure, you get a little kick, but that's going to reset exactly when you need to take the next shot. You don't have to wrestle around with this thing, which is nice because it's a laser gun. You wouldn't expect 50 caliber recoil, would you? But yeah, being able to stay back and just staying out of the enemy's vicinity, I think is the way to go. But perhaps using a scoped version like this in Gunner's Plaza might be pushing it a little bit. We're going to continue though. Using this thing in close quarters, we'll just take this awkward elevator ride down. And we'll emerge out here. Here we go. I can't see anything. Being kind of screwed over by my night vision here. Very good placement of the construction light from the gunners. They're definitely making sure no one's going to sneak up on them. Alright, let's move a little bit closer here. I had a BRX or VR, some Beretta weapon, some Beretta rifle. ARX. That's the one. Anyways, back to the lair. I mean, it's wrecking the regular gunners, but what gun doesn't, really? What could I say about this? It doesn't feel like it's overpowered. I feel like it's a sort of mid-game weapon, and the LAER, it's sort of, back in New Vegas, had a big flaw of it was just a flimsy piece of crap that you'd have to spend all of your weapon repair kits on just in regular combat. I still get comments to this day using Elijah's LAER that, hey bro, don't use the overcharge. That'll just ruin the weapon. Use optimize. Like, no, shut up. Don't tell me how to play the game, firstly. But then, like, mate, it's not that hard to get weapon repair kits. After you've done the Sierra Madre, you can just, if you've got the schematics from that particular DLC, what you'll do is you'll just trade in those chips that you get every week just for weapon repair kits. And it's not like they're that hard to find either. You just craft the bits out of them. But yeah, that was a bit of a pain in the ass. We don't have to worry about weapon condition unless you've got mods to bring it back, and why would you? It's frustrating and annoying. Like, what are we going to do when we're fast traveling? That's when we maintain and clean our rifles. Did I disarm that guy? I think he just threw a Garand at me. He did as well. Sort of trying to whack me over the head with it. Alright, so I suppose that went kind of well, but you could tell this thing was against the big bad gunners. It was kind of struggling. Also, it leaves behind the blue ash piles, a little bit like the alien blaster as well, an electricity sort of Tesla. So it's quite a pleasant weapon to use. Aesthetically, I really, really like it, but performance-wise, and this is not really the fault of the modder, it's just not that great. But other than that, I think this weapon's great. I highly recommend it to download to anyone. Do I want to fight a monster with this thing? Not really, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. We'll be right back. Okay, I've created a monster. It's a little bit like what you'd call a legacy in Fallout 76. Anyways, this is going to be fun. We're only running on limited fusion cells, so yeah, this shouldn't be over. This shouldn't take that long. Look, that's 300 damage. I don't know where I'm pulling that damage out of, but yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Did he survive? No, he didn't. Of course he didn't. And there was a person up there, and if that other one wants to peek, I would probably say don't, for your own good. I could probe around and find him eventually, but whatever, I'm just gonna leave him. There's a Mylert Queen over there, and not anymore. This is like the good old days with legacy guns. Or, actually, never mind, they're still going. They haven't quite removed them just yet, but we're only just scratching the surface here, the tip of the iceberg, if you will, because there's a big monster over there. And if we wanted to demonstrate the power of legacies, well, here we go. Look at that, it's mutated already. I can't even see its health, so I'm gonna VATS it. Like I said, I was gonna cheat. Alright, so I think I'm gonna call it there. I don't think there's much else I can really show you that this thing could do really better than any sort of laser gun you'd find. It's a different flavor of laser gun, and I actually quite like it. So it's a highly recommended one for me because it just looks really good. It feels a little bit more authentic. It feels a little bit like that sort of more primitive feeling weapons that you had back in New Vegas, but they've nailed the feel of it, is what I'm getting at there, which is nice. And the animations, although they don't have sounds, kind of work on the way that they never had sounds back in New Vegas anyway, so who cares? This is all ballistic muzzle flashes and explosions now, just explosive bullets. But that's what that like. So, you know, if you want to make an overpowered explosive layer, be my guest if you want to download this thing yourself. Highly recommended. Check it out. It's good stuff, and it's a very lightweight mod because it's a PBW mod, and they don't bloat your game or your hard drive with like 14 different retextures you'll never use. So that's another plus. So link will be in the description if you're interested, and I'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Also, I gave her glasses. It makes her look smart. Smart like some sort of institute scientist, but turned into a merc. Yeah, that's the feel we're going for.